It's fine with me.
What times of the day do you usually have the most traffic on the bus?
Oh, usually first thing in the morning, all the commuters that are coming off the Plains Road lot, and then again in the afternoon. Well, no, not quite afternoon. I'd say around 10:30. That's been my experience. So maybe the other drivers have had, you know, different times, but I say first thing in the morning, like around 8:30, and then around 10:30.
How do you feel about the transportation on URI? You think there's enough drivers and like everyone?
Oh, I think there's always room for improvement.
Okay.
I think we could use another bus down here, to be honest with you. I think there's a lot more students this year than there were last year.
All right.
I think that we could keep the buses here a little later in the evening, because I've noticed that there's a lot more evening commuters than there were last year, and I just I don't feel good about having the women like walking in the dark all the way from like Chafee down to Plains Road.
Yep.
So I think if we had one that went a little later, that would probably improve things.
The lights at the end of the road where most people leave school, and you can see traffic always goes well beyond this curve, goes all the way to the end, and there's people waiting over here when they're trying to get home. Light just went, but see how many cars will go by. This is also a main road people take to get home after class or to school, and you can see how the traffic is. Seems like it goes all the way down the street, and it could definitely make people late to class or late to somewhere they need to be. So I just left the URI campus, no more than a minute down the road, and I am stuck in traffic, which just seems to go all the way to the light at the end of the road. And as you can see, people turning around, which I'm about to do, because this is ridiculous and will take me, which should be a 5-minute drive, probably over a half hour. And there's one guy who turned around. I'm gonna follow in his lead. This is the traffic on the way into school, which is why I gotta leave for a 9 o'clock class at about 8:15 just to get there on time. 4 o'clock on a Friday, and the traffic on this long road leading out of URI is really bad. And I had to drive the other way just to get into this traffic because I had to turn around. And on my way I looked at most of the cars, and there was only a few people that were carpooling, and which is definitely one of the major reasons why this is this big traffic. I myself am not carpooling because I came to school alone, so it just goes to show.
It's better to walk around or walking around campus than taking the bus or shuttle.
I definitely think it's better to walk around. It just seems more convenient. I mean, why take a shuttle if it's not that far away anyways?
Or drive.
It's nice out today, so on days like this, it seems like a lot of people walk to class, which will save energy from the buses going around all day taking people. Something good about the transportation here is that they just made a new cut through on the side of the quad, which will help students get to class faster and make sure they're on time. One of the alternative ways of getting around campus is riding a bike. One of the alternative ways, riding a bicycle. This is how this kid gets to the library. If you take the train into Kingston, this is the sign that will welcome you in. This is a sign that's in front of the bike path and also at the railroad. Now, This is a sign for the old Narragansett Pier Railroad, which is actually now the bike path. So if you actually ride the bike path, it's the old Narragansett and South Kingston Railroad track that would bring all the passengers around, which they knocked down and made this new one in 1998, which is a lot bigger. But the sign says that at the beginning of the 20th century, the Narragansett Pier Railroad was a primary source of travel in South Kingston and Narragansett with up to 500 passengers a day. With the increased use of the automobile, ridership and the railroad began to decline through the 1920s and 1940s. They sold the railroad in 1946 and the passenger service ended in 1952. And the line was abandoned in 1981, which is pretty good, which is why they made the bike path. Bikers are beginning to go down the bike path, which leads all the way over to around Route 108, which is about 7 miles away. This is a very good alternative route of getting around town, beat traffic, get exercise, save, pollution, gas, lots of stuff.